Hi everyone, this is Sasha and Susie from Women's Fight News, sponsored by Champions Memorabilia. Another week, another weekly roundup. Busy one this week, super busy.
It's been an exciting week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all these promotions were in competition with each other because someone would announce a big fight and we'd all be like, talking about it. And then next thing, another fight got announced. So I feel like there was a bit of game playing going on there.
Definitely.
But all for it. The more fights, the better.
And then Bob trying to get in on the action as well.
Like you say, Bob would, wouldn't he? Bloody Bob. We'll talk about him later. You know what? I can't. We can't start it with Bob. Can't have it.
No.
He just upsets me. I just don't like him.
Let's start positively.
We will. Let's talk positively on the fight that obviously we're also excited for. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano has finally been announced. And I must say, obviously my flights and accommodation are booked, and it's a massive thanks to you, Susie, because as I'm driving home from work, my phone's like pinging, getting phone calls, and you were just on hand for me. So very grateful for that.
I was literally ringing you because thinking you want to know about it. I was like, she's ringing going, Sasha.
Oh, I was 5 minutes away from home, thank God. Nearly ran a few cyclists over, but it was okay. Got back in time. Flight accommodation booked, and I'm ready to go.
It's going to be amazing night.
Yeah, it's. Do you know what I loved about it? It was the buzz as soon as it was announced, and it wasn't necessarily even just boxing fans. I just felt like there was a buzz from the world with this fight when it was announced.
Yeah, no, definitely. You could just see with the amount of posts, the amount of promotion that's already come out of DAZN and Matchroom. Everybody's just exciting.
Yeah,
and we've got obviously Jake Paul on side. It's going to be huge. It's just going to get bigger and bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is the fight that we'll always look back on that changed women's boxing. Like, obviously it's been great, especially the last few years, but I think this is the fight that will change women's boxing forever.
And Amanda, she gets a payday that she deserves, that she's deserved way back.
Yeah.
She deserves a lot more than what she's getting, but I'm just so thankful she's getting that £1 million payday.
Yeah, like you say, so she should. I mean, who would have thought it would take Jake Paul? And in all fairness, he, a few years ago, he's a YouTuber, obviously very successful in his own right. But who would have thought it would take someone like that to create what he's created for someone like Amanda Serrano?
Yeah, and who would have thought he'd be our hero in women's boxing?
I know, because you know what? I'll be dead honest. When he first came out and he done that first fight, I just was not. I didn't get it, didn't like it, wasn't a fan. But I am a massive fan of him now for many reasons. I've seen him train with Amanda. He trains like, he's a professional boxer. So I've got a lot more respect for him on that side. But what he's done for Amanda in women's boxing, you've just got to have respect.
Definitely. The hero we didn't know we were going to have or need. But there he is.
There he is. Yeah, love it. So obviously that's the big fight, but quite a few of the title fights have been announced. So Ellie Scotney was announced that she's got a fight coming up, and that is for the WBA Intercontinental Super Bantamweight title. I was quite surprised at this. I wasn't expecting her to have a title fight in the next fight, but what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Ellie's had a real stop and start career so far, unfortunately, because obviously her debut got way delayed. And then when she did get going, it's been stop and start. And she showed, and she's still got great promise. But I mean, she showed such great promise to get started and cracking on quite quickly at the beginning. So now I feel like perhaps this is it. She's back on it. They're going to get her straight into the harder fights, get her straight up that ladder towards the world title.
Yeah, definitely. I like it. Like you say, it's been very stop start, and I felt really sorry for her in that build up. But I like all of her opponents. She's not taken an easy fight from the get go. Obviously, her debut was against Beck Connolly, followed by Maëlys Gangloff, and then Eva Cantos. So she's had 3 very decent fights. So I quite like it. And I mean, I was talking the other day to Nina Hughes saying, I wish there was a British title so we're not having to jump so far ahead. But I like the fact that she is going for a title, kind of that stepping stone that we see a little bit more in the men's, where obviously they go for British and then maybe European, and then it's more of a gradual build up to world title. So I like it. I was surprised. I thought she'd have a few more fights, but it's a good fight for her.
And her opponent, a very good opponent.
Experience.
Because this was who Rachel Ball fought, who unfortunately was last minute because she was stepping in to replace Ebanie Bridges when she got injured for the WBA World Bantamweight title, then didn't make weight. And unfortunately, it was so way off that poor even Rachel Ball couldn't even fight for that title and ended up with a WBC interim title at Super Bantamweight. But even though she didn't make weight and was very last minute, I thought she actually was a very good fighter fighting against Rachel. So I think she's going to be a tough challenge for Ellie Scotney. I feel like Ellie Scotney will do it. She, I think she's going to get the win. But I think it's a very good step-up fight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I really do. Like I say, I hope she gets the win, but it's a tough fight. But like I say, I think she's built herself up quite well, even though it's been a lot of breaks. It must have been quite frustrating for Ellie. She's had very good opponents from the get-go. So it's been a nice gradual incline, I think, with opponents. But I'm looking forward to that fight. I think, 10 rounds, I think it will go the distance. So I think it'll be quite entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to have some toe-to-toe action in this one, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Another title announced, Ebanie Bridges, who is fighting for the IBF. Is it Bantam or Super Bantam? Bantam. IBF Bantamweight title. So I did see this one coming. I did think she's due a world title shot again. And she's fighting in Leeds. So how exciting is that one?
Yeah, definitely. Because, last time in Leeds, she had sort of short notice to fight there against Gangloff. And actually, the crowd support was amazing. In the middle of the fight, a whole load of the crowd stood up and started singing and cheering for her. So I feel like at that short notice, if she got that much attention, with this build-up, it's going to be such an amazing atmosphere. Yeah.
And Eddie Hearn was quoted saying, obviously, if Ebanie wins this, she's going to change her life. I feel like she's already changed her life since being in boxing. But it just shows, obviously, she had that loss against Shannon Courtney, which in some degree was controversial, but she's went on, she's cracked on, she's improved, and now she's got another shot at a world title, and again against a very experienced opponent. But I think you see nothing but improvements from Ebanie as every fight goes on. So again, I think it will go the distance in my opinion, but I do see Ebanie becoming a world champion.
Definitely, and it's going to be an exciting fight because an Argentinian fighter, we know that she comes forward, she wants to fight on the inside quite a lot. We know Ebanie likes to do that as well. So there's going to be a lot of inside fighting, there's going to be a lot of toe-to-toe action. But yeah, no, it's going to be exciting. Obviously feel like, I know Ebanie's going to walk away with a win and get that world title. But I feel like, it's going to be great.
I agree. I think it will be a close fight, but that's what you want. You want these close fights. You don't want, walking out and winning every round, especially when it's world title. It needs to be a 50-50 fight. And like you say, I do think Ebanie will come away with the win, but, I think there'll be a bit of blood, sweat and tears throughout the 10 rounds.
And I think with Ebanie, it's quite nice that she's, you say she's improving all the time. It's amazing the improvements, we can see from each fight. And she's got so much experience from all these different trainers. And now she's with Tibbs, who we know, Tibbs is a great trainer. Yeah. And then she's got a full camp in the UK with Tibbs. So we're going to see something special that night.
Yeah, and that's a good point, actually, because I think Ebanie uses her time extremely well, whether it's purely for obviously boxing and training or promotional purposes. She doesn't waste a second, no matter where about in the world she is. But I think this will be really nice to see her, obviously, with a full camp with the one coach. Obviously, she's done very well in previous camps, taking snippets from different people, and you can see them improvements, but it'll be nice for her to settle, like you say, with Tibbs, who's an unbelievable coach. So be like the new and improved version of Ebanie Bridges yet again. So it'll be exciting to see. Another one. Now, I was very surprised by this. Tasha Jonas. And I've got mixed emotions on this, in all honesty. I'm very happy that she's got her world title shot again. I just don't get it, though. I don't get the jump. I don't get the weight at all. So she's fighting super welterweight for the WBO world title. So super welter, it's a big jump from her last few fights.
Huge jump. So, yeah. And it's no pushover opponent either, former world champion.
Yeah. Very tough opponent. I mean, I remember I've said for ages, I thought we'd see Tasha Jonas, Jessica McCaskill, because I thought she could probably push up to 140. And I remember people criticizing, saying, well, she wouldn't go to 140. Well, she surpassed that. It's just a big jump. And I think it's risky. You know, it is a very experienced opponent yet again. But Tasha has the skill. We've seen that she's got the skill. She very close fight against Terry, another good fight against Katie. But I just think this could be a step too far weight-wise. Is she going to lose what she's got going for her? You know, is she going to lose that speed? Is she going to lose the footwork that she's got going for her? And is she going to be bullied and pushed around the ring a little bit because it's such a jump in weight?
It's just so many questions, isn't there?
I don't know. It's a funny one.
But it's interesting because if she, you know, pulls it off and gets the win, you know, it's an exciting division for her because she's got so many options. I mean, we can see her against then Hannah Rankin to unify in that division. Marie-Eve Decaire, who we saw against Claressa last March. There's some exciting fights to come. So, yeah, it's an exciting one. Definitely one not to be missed.
Definitely. That's only a few weeks away as well. So I'm looking for, I think I'm very intrigued about how that one's going to go. I think it's got to be a win for Tasha. You know, if she doesn't win, I think she's run out of opportunities. So I think it's a very high pressure fight for Tasha and a very high weight. So I think it'll be quite interesting.
Yeah. I feel like Tasha Jonas will come away with the win. I feel like she's just got that bit more. I know she hasn't, her opponent's been a former world champion, but I feel like Natasha Jonas still has the better kind of resume against better opponents, more experience in that regard. So I feel like as long as the weight suits her, I think she'll come away with the win.
Yeah, 100% on paper, her skill sets, it is better. You know, her resume is better. I think it's all about the weight and how she, you know, she carries herself. She's not fought nowhere near that weight before. But she's got a great team around her. I'm sure she's got a great strength and conditioning coach. I'm sure she understands her nutrition. So she's not going in blind, is she? So I think I'm intrigued more to see how she will fight and to see what his style will be like at that weight, because I think it will have to be different. I think that's what I'm quite intrigued at. But we've seen how powerful she can be. You know, we saw how powerful she was against Terry Harper. So if she can carry that power, obviously with the extra weight, that could be interesting as well. Definitely. Like we said at the beginning, we're gonna have to move on to Bob Arum.
Oh no.
Can you believe his comments? I couldn't remember off the top of my head, so I've wrote it down.
I can believe it because Bob just comes out with some right things, but I just feel so sorry for Michaela Mayer because on one hand, at times he's been so supportive, and obviously it's great that she's been on this platform. She has had the platform and he's come out and he stood by her side and supported her. And then on the other hand, to then say this is just totally disrespectful then.
Yeah. I mean, Michaela Mayer is top 5 pound for pound boxer. So anyone else, you know, any other platform would snap her up straight away. So I think he should count himself quite lucky that he's got her. But his comment, so it was, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of it, but the one that obviously circulated was, people don't particularly pay attention to women's boxing. It's like comparing Premier League to women's football. What an arsehole. I just think that's your comment. I mean, Frank Warren made a similar comment obviously a few years back, and I think if that's your belief, don't represent women then. Simple as that. If that's what you think, just don't represent them, because if that's what he thinks, is it not his job to change people's perception? I don't get what he thinks his role is. Yeah,
exactly. He should be bigging up Michaela, because like you say, he's got one of the best boxers in the world on his own promotion. And
just disappointing, I think. And it'd be interesting to think hear Michaela Mayer's views, because I know if I was her, I'd be pissed and I would question, because in all fairness, I know we say like he's supported and things like that, but it took her a while to get her world title opportunity, and that was something she mentioned quite a lot. And I think she deserved it earlier than what she got it. And I know she'd made comments about Eddie Hearn obviously just buying the titles for his fighters, but at the end of the day, he's bought them for his fighters. Bob Arum didn't do it. Do you know? And I know as a boxer, it must be frustrating for someone like Michaela Mayer to sit there and watch people who she doesn't think deserves the opportunity as much as her, but it comes down to the promoter.
Even if he was just trying to have a pop at a different promotion by putting down Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, if you think about it, this is the winner of that fight might well end up taking on Michaela Mayer at some point, because Michaela's talking about going up. So you'd think that he would support it and big it up and make it bigger, even bigger, so that when his fighter comes to fight, it's going to be, potentially even bigger. But no. Yeah,
you're completely right. Like, I mean, in Michaela Mayer's ideal world, from what we gather, like when she's on Twitter and things, is that she'll become undisputed at 130, and then she'll move to 135, and she would love to fight, Katie and Amanda. So if you're Bob Arum, you're sitting there thinking, I've got one of the best female boxers in the world, and she's got the opportunity to become 2-weight undisputed champion. But yeah, he sat there and just made some shit comments. I just don't get it.
No, that's just crazy.
Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Don't like men like that in the sport.
One good thing is it has got a lot of talk. Like,
yeah,
it's nice to see everyone unifying against him. And in some ways, he's brought more attention to it. So although by bringing it down, he's lifted it even more. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true, actually. And it's great to see actually how many people are really upset and annoyed by his comments, which shows, how far women's boxing has come. And I think this is where, people can slate Eddie Hearn all they want, but he's done wonders for women's boxing. Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? How long's Bob Arum been in the sport? And look what Jake Paul's achieved for women's boxing over Bob Arum. So I just think it's time to get rid of these dinosaurs. I'm not a big fan of Frank Warren. I'm not a big fan of Bob Arum. And I think bring someone like Jake Paul in. He's young, he's fresh, he knows what he's doing, he's business smart. Bring them and get rid of all the old ones.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Last thing, obviously, coming up, a few fights this weekend. So we have Jamie Mitchell is making her first title defense against Carly Skelly on the 5th. So on Saturday. How do you see that one going?
Oh, it's going to be a tough one. I feel like probably Jamie Mitchell will win it. However, I think, because we've talked about this before, but I feel like Carly is just, you can't count her out because she wants it. She's got the desire, she's got the fire, and she's awkward. She's awkward in the ring, and I think it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, if she off.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. It's one of them. If Jamie wins, you go, right, she's retained a title. If Carly wins, I don't even think it'd be a massive upset, unless you're Jamie Mitchell, of course. But yeah, I'm sitting on the fence because obviously Carly, fellow Scouser. I'm also a big fan of Jamie. I'm going to have to sit on the fence for that one. I think as long as it's a good fight and there's no robberies, there's no silly business, then I'm going to be quite happy.
At the end of the day, it's hard to judge because on the last fight, obviously, it was kind of very one-sided, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Against Shannon Corney. And we know that Carly Skelly's going to come out there looking a lot better than that.
Oh, God, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how Jamie Mitchell approaches that when this, the fight is actually off the ropes and fighting.
Yeah,
fighting back.
That's it. Because Jamie obviously got her own way a lot in that fight. So, and there's no way. Carly's worked very hard in her career. It's been hard for her to get this opportunity. So she's not just going to sit on the ropes taking punches. No way.
No. And at one point, Shannon even did rock Jamie. At one point, she got in there, and I know she's a hard hitter, is Shannon Courtney, but she did get in there. She did get hit, Jamie. So Carly gets in there, puts the pressure on.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting one. We were saying obviously before this that we just don't think it's got, in a way, the respect I think it deserves. I think it's a really, really big fight, so it's a shame. But I'm personally looking forward. I'm going to get up to watch that one.
Yeah, and I was saying, hasn't had the promotion it deserves, and I feel like it's Carly that's been pushing the promotion more than anyone by going out and getting the interviews and getting her voice out there and getting herself seen.
Yeah, way to do it now. So yeah, looking forward to that one. And then obviously Cardiff is coming up also. We've got Caroline Dubois fighting on that, and then of course Claressa Shields and Emma Kozin. So that's another good one.
Very excited for this because it's nice and close to home for me.
Yeah, around the corner.
Yeah, that's it. So Caroline, it's going to be great to finally see her in a debut. Long time coming, so that's going to be very exciting. And Claressa, I mean, what more can I say? pound for pound number one in the world, in my opinion. She's just so skilled. It's just going to be, I'm just going to love every minute. I love every minute of watching a fight, any fight. It's just a really beautiful way of fighting, and I love every minute of fighting.
I think we're going to see the best of Claressa in this fight. I genuinely believe this is her toughest opponent. And I just think we're going to see the best in it, in the way that I actually think she will probably make very easy work, because we are seeing the best of Claressa Shields. And there's no pressure. Claressa's even come out and said that she doesn't think Savannah Marshall is going to be her biggest opponent, but obviously this is the build up to that big fight. So obviously Claressa's going to want to come out and show how good she is.
Yeah. And obviously this is her first time fighting in the UK, so she wants to show everyone here in the UK what she's about. But do you know what? I see her stopping Kozin. I really do. I feel like this is the fight she's gonna actually stop that opponent and like you say, prove something to everyone.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. I do believe Kozin, I believe this is her toughest opponent now, Claressa's toughest opponent. But I think that's where we'll see the stoppage, because I think Claressa will just move to that next level. And there's been times, I think, I love watching Claressa box. I think at times she tries too hard for the stoppage when she doesn't need to. I just have a feeling that we're just going to see her, like, a different aura about her. And I think I don't know what it is, whether it's because she'll be in the UK, and whether it's the MMA's probably helped as well, that we are just going to see somehow an even better version, which we probably, when we watched go, I didn't even know it was possible for her to be even better than what she's been.
I love seeing how many different people she's sparring lately. Like, she's had so much experience with so many different fighters. You're always seeing a sparring different person here, there, and everywhere. And again, I love that, the fact that just getting so much experience in there with different people.
Yeah, 100%. She's just been sparring with Sandy Ryan. I did put on Twitter that, she said Sandy Ryan will be a future world champion. So, I mean, when you got Claressa saying that about you, I'm sorry, I wouldn't care what anyone else said about me. I'd be like, that's it, I'm done, don't care. I'd retire. I'd be happy.
Oh, that's the other thing. Have we talked about Sandy?
Sandy Ryan.
And her opponent. I mean,
it's another step up. No fear there.
I was going to say, I feel like she's being put through it to show it to everyone she's something special. She's going to be a top fighter. And I feel like this is them saying she's doing it now. She's stepping up because she's afraid of no one and she can do it.
Yeah. And good on her, because I think Sandy is that good, where we don't need to be wasting time. We don't need journey where I think she just needs to crack on. She is that good. She's very skillful. She was obviously a great amateur, but she suits the pro game so much more. I think we spoke before, love her attitude. So yeah, another big opponent. When's she fighting?
It's the same night as Heather Hardy and Terry Harper. So 12th
around the
March,
corner, in Nottingham. So around the corner, obviously she's from Derby, so she'll get a big crowd there as well.
Yeah, it'll be a huge crowd. But like, I'm an even bigger fan, having interviewed her recently.
Yeah,
because I feel like, having spoken to her and just talked to her about her sort of mindset and the way she is in fighting, I just feel like I really get how she is at the beginning of her fights, and how when she comes into the head-to-head and thinks, no, I'm not playing, I'm going to try and knock you out so we're not friends.
Yeah,
I totally get it. And I feel like I've become a bigger fan having spoken to her.
Yeah, that was a great interview. So if anyone hasn't watched that, obviously head over. It was yourself, wasn't it, with Sandy Ryan? Was it last week?
No, it was before that. Was it a week before?
Was it?
Was it?
I don't myself.
Maybe it was.
Every day's the same.
I think time's just getting
away.
It
was one of the latest ones. It was one of the latest ones, wasn't it? Yourself and Sandy Ryan. It was a really great interview. Actually, it was quite insightful. Like you say, you get to really get into like the mind of Sandy Ryan. It was really interesting.
And it was quite nice doing the little quick fires, and then at the end getting her to say how she'd do against Jessica McCaskill.
Because we could see that fight.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, that fight could happen, because obviously Jessica McCaskill, I mean, how old's Jessica now? I don't even like to guess people's age, but I feel like she's around mid-30s. I've got a number in my head, but I'm not going to say it, but I feel like she's around mid-30s, maybe a teeny tiny bit older than mid-30s. But it is still a fight that we could see if, Sandy's getting a move on. She's not waiting around anyway, is she? So.
Yeah, that's And I love the fact that she's just confidently like, yeah, clean KO. You know, this is someone who's undisputed. It's all the best. She's like, yeah, KO.
It's not going to be funny. We've seen them body shots from Sandy. Like, you can't put her past her anyway, can you?
Yeah. I you know, it's going to be great if she keeps on getting some KOs like that. It's an exciting career ahead.
100%. So, yeah, been a busy week. Obviously, loads of title fights announced. Obviously, boxing, I feel like it resumes properly now. From this weekend on, there's actually lots going on, and of course, if Bob Arum keeps piping up, there'll always be something to talk about. So we'll see what happens next week with him. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to our channel, where we have new videos dropping all of the time. Also, head over to our social media pages, where we have the latest boxing news, as well as interviews and live coverage from boxing events.